Hello there, come in from the busy world and find your place of rest. Tonight we are not going on a journey across land but into the deep. We are travelling back, far back, beyond human memory, to a time when the world was new and the oceans were a vast, silent, liquid dream. We are going to a place of profound peace, a world without names, without maps, without time. We are going to swim with the ancient whales. These were the first great dreamers, the first true giants of our world. Their lives were not measured in days or years, but in the slow, eternal rhythm of the tides, and the length of a journey that had no beginning and no end. So let your body grow heavy. Feel yourself begin to drift, suspended in a warm and gentle current. Let the noise of your world dissolve into the soft, deep blue of the ancient sea. We are sinking now, down into the quiet, into the peace. Let's begin our dream. Imagine a world without sharp edges, a world where light does not glare but filters down in soft, shifting curtains of emerald and sapphire. A world where sound does not clang but travels in slow, resonant waves that you feel as much as you hear. This is the ocean of the Eocene epoch, 50 million years ago. The sun, a warm, distant presence, pours its gentle energy into the surface of the water, and the light that reaches you here in the quiet depths is soft, dappled, and endlessly peaceful. There are no ships tearing the surface above. There are no nets, no lines, no man-made sounds to break the perfect primordial peace. There is only the vast, breathing quiet of the sea. The only sound is the soft, whispering hiss of a million tiny bubbles, the distant, gentle pulse of the currents, and the rhythmic, powerful, and incredibly slow beat of a colossal heart somewhere nearby. This is where we meet them, a family, a pod of ancient whales moving through the water with a grace that defies their immense size. They are not the whales we know today, but their ancestors, the first great mammals to return to the sea. Perhaps they are Basilocetus, long and serpentine, their bodies a beautiful, streamlined solution to life in the water. Or maybe they are the earlier, more curious Ambulocetus, still carrying the memory of land in their bone. It does not matter. What matters is their movement. They do not swim in a hurry. There is no destination, only the journey. They move with a slow, powerful, and utterly relaxed rhythm. A great tail fluke as wide as a room pushes down with unimaginable force, yet the movement is so slow and deliberate it feels like a form of meditation. They glide through the water, propelled by this gentle, titanic pulse, their bodies suspended between the sunlit surface far above and the dark, mysterious abyss far below. Let yourself join them. Imagine you are weightless, drifting alongside these gentle giants. The water around you is warm and holds you in a soft, constant embrace. You feel the slow, rhythmic pulse of their movement in your own body, a deep, resonant vibration that seems to calm your very soul. Your own heartbeat begins to slow, matching the ancient, unhurried rhythm of the pod. You watch as the great mother whale, a creature longer than any boat you have ever seen, drifts serenely through a curtain of sunlight. Her eye, as large as a dinner plate, swivels slowly to look at you. There is no fear in her gaze. There is no aggression. There is only a deep, ancient, and profoundly calm curiosity. She has never seen a human before. To her, you are just another strange, drifting creature in her vast blue world. She accepts your presence without question. Her calf, still enormous by our standards but small beside its mother, is more playful. It swims in slow, lazy circles around her, occasionally nudging her vast side with its head. It practices breaching, pushing its body up towards the surface, not with a great explosive leap, but with a slow, gentle lift. It is the gentle play of a creature with all the time in the world. The family communicates, but it is not a language of sharp sounds. It is a language of deep, resonant moans and soft, clicking pulses. The sounds travel for miles through the water, a form of communication that is both a song and a feeling. You hear a low, mournful note from the mother, and you feel the vibration pass through you, a feeling of contentment, of reassurance. All is well. We are together. The current is gentle. The calf replies with a series of soft, high-pitched clicks. I am here. The light is beautiful. The water is warm. Their journey is a form of slow, waking dream. They are following an invisible path, a map written not on paper, but in the temperature of the water, the pull of the moon, and the faint magnetic lines of the earth itself. They are migrating, but the journey is so long, so vast, that the concept of a destination feels irrelevant. Their life is the journey. It is this endless, peaceful, forward-drifting motion. They pass through underwater landscapes of breathtaking and silent beauty. They glide over vast plains of soft white sand, where strange flower-like creatures wave gently in the current. They navigate through towering, silent forests of kelp, their long fronds reaching up towards the light, their leaves creating a shifting green-gold canopy. Sunlight filters through the kelp forest, creating a cathedral of light and shadow, and the whales move through it with a quiet, reverent grace. There is no anxiety here. There is no sense of hurry. There is no past to regret and no future to worry about. There is only the present moment, the feeling of the water flowing over your skin, the sight of the gentle giant shapes moving beside you, the sound of their slow, eternal song. It is a state of being so peaceful, so completely at one with its environment, that it feels less like life and more like a form of deep, conscious slumber. As you drift with them, you feel the tension in your own shoulders begin to dissolve. The worries and lists and noises of your own world feel 1,000,000 miles and 1,000,000 years away. You are simply here, a silent observer in a world of profound and beautiful quiet, lulled by the slow, gentle rhythm of the ancient ocean and the even slower, even gentler rhythm of the great whales. You are sinking deeper now, not into the ocean, but into a state of perfect, peaceful rest. Let us drift now deeper into our ocean dream and meet some of these ancient leviathans more closely. The names we have given them, names discovered from fossilized bones dug from ancient seabeds that are now dry land, sound fearsome. Liviatan, Basilsaurus. They sound like monsters from a story meant to frighten children, but let us set aside our modern preconceptions and see them as they were, not magnificent, but magnificent, magging beings perfectly adapted to their slow, silent forest abodes, now safely asleep, their 3 feet superbly assembled, fighting for certain 4 feet of water, like a Imagine for a moment you are floating in the warm, sunlit waters of the Miocene Ocean about 10 million years ago. The water is a brilliant, clear turquoise. Below you, a vast reef of pale, branching coral teems with small, jewel-like fish. And then a shadow passes over you. It is vast, and it is moving slowly. You look up, and you see it. It is Liviatan melvilli, a great sperm whale, a contemporary of the monstrous shark Megalodon. In our world, we might think of such a creature as a terrifying predator, and in its own time it was an apex hunter. But we are in a dream, and in our dream we see not its power, but its majesty. We see not a hunter, but a guardian of the deep. Its head is immense, a great square block of a forehead that holds the complex oils and organs used for echolocation, for seeing the world through sound. It is a living biological marvel, a creature that perceives its world in a way we can barely comprehend. It moves with a slow, deliberate confidence. It is not in a hurry. It has no enemies to flee from. The entire ocean is its kingdom. Its skin is not a uniform grey, but a landscape of scars and healed wounds, a map of a long life lived. Each mark tells a story, a battle with a giant squid in the dark abyss, a scrape against a sharp reef, a social encounter with another of its kind. Its history is written on its very skin. You watch as it opens its mouth, not in aggression, but in what looks like a great, slow, pounding yawn. You see its teeth, each one as long and as thick as your forearm. In a museum, they would be terrifying, but here, in the water, they seem less like weapons and more like ancient ivory pillars lining a great cavernous hall. The creature is not interested in you. It is simply existing, breathing, moving through its world with a slow, ponderous grace. It gives a great, shuddering sigh, a cloud of bubbles escaping its blowhole, and then, with a single, almost imperceptibly slow beat of its enormous tail, it begins to descend. A vast dark mountain sinking slowly and silently back into the blue abyss, leaving you alone in the quiet, sunlit water. Let us travel further back now, into the warm, shallow seas of the Eocene, nearly 40 million years ago. The continents are still moving towards their modern positions. The world is a greenhouse, warm from pole to pole, and here we meet a creature whose very name is a misunderstanding, Basilosaurus. It means pink lizard. When its long, serpentine, fossilized spine was first discovered, scientists thought they had found a great marine reptile, a sea serpent from ancient fossil. But they were wrong. Basilosaurus was not a reptile, it was a whale, one of the first truly gigantic whales to ever exist. Imagine it now. It is not built like the whales we know. It has no great, blocky head. Its body is long, impossibly long, like a 60-foot-long eel, but with the warm blood and smooth skin of a mammal. It undulates through the water, moving not just with its tail, but with its entire body, a slow, hypnotic, serpentine dance. It is a living ribbon of muscle and grace. Its head is long and narrow, with a mouth full of teeth that are complex and varied, sharp ones at the front for gripping, and triangular, serrated ones at the back for shearing. But we are not here to witness a hunt, we are here to witness a moment of peace. You see a Basilosaurus mother resting near the surface with her calf. She is not swimming, she is simply floating, her long body gently rising and falling with the swell of the sea. Her calf, a smaller version of her serpentine form, rests on her back, its head just above the water. She is a living cradle. The sunlight warms them, small fish dart around them, cleaning parasites from their skin, and they tolerate the attention with a placid indifference. The Basilosaurus has a secret, a strange echo of its past. If you look closely at its flanks, far down its long body, you will see them. Two small, perfectly formed but utterly useless hind legs. They are complete with knees, ankles, and tiny articulated toes. They are a relic of a forgotten time, a physical memory of its distant ancestors who walked on land. These legs, no bigger than a human child's, dangle uselessly in the water, a quiet, gentle reminder that this great sea serpent was once a creature of the earth. It is a story told not in words, but in bone. A story of a journey back to the sea, a journey so complete that the memory of walking is now just a tiny, vestigial dream. Let us now drift forward in time again, to a slightly cooler, more familiar ocean. The great toothed whales are still here, but a new kind of giant is beginning to appear. These are the baleen whales, the gentle filter feeders. Let us meet Chitotherium, a smaller, more primitive ancestor of the modern grey whale or minke whale. Imagine a pod of Chitotherium on their endless migration, but they are still immense creatures. They moved with a quiet purpose, their journey dictated by the seasons and the blooming of plankton in the sea. Their feeding is not an act of violence, but an act of gentle, rhythmic harvesting. You watch as one of them opens its mouth. Instead of teeth, its upper jaw is lined with great brush-like plates of baleen. It takes a huge gulp of seawater, a mouthful that could hold a small boat, and then it closes its mouth. With its enormous, muscular tongue, it pushes the water out through the baleen plate. The baleen acts as a perfect natural sieve, trapping thousands of tiny krill, shrimp, and small fish while the water flows harmlessly back into the sea. It is an act of eating on a colossal scale, yet it is utterly gentle. The whale is filtering its sustenance from the very water it breathes, a giant harvesting a microscopic forest. Their communication is different too. This is where the song begins. The deep, complex, and hauntingly beautiful songs that we associate with modern humpback whales have their ancient roots here. You hear it now, a low, resonant melody that seems to make the very water vibrate. It is a song of incredible complexity, a series of moans, groans and cries that rise and fall in repeating patterns. It is a song that carries information. The water is warm here, the feeding is good, follow this current. But it is more than just information. It is a song of identity. I am here, this is my pod, this is our journey. It is a song of longing, of memory, of the vast, lonely, beautiful expanse of the sea. It is a lullaby sung in a language older than any human tongue, a song sung to the ocean itself. As you float in this ancient sea, surrounded by these gentle giants, you realize the truth behind their fearsome names. They were not monsters, they were simply alive. They were mothers and children. They were singers and travelers. They lived lives of immense scale and profound simplicity. They moved through their world not with rage or fury, but with a slow, steady and deeply peaceful grace. And as you listen to their ancient song, a song that has been echoing through the deep for millions of years, you feel your own thoughts begin to quiet down. The sharp edges of your day begin to soften. The worries and anxieties of your world seem very small, very distant. You are simply here, a silent guest in the presence of these gentle, dreaming giants, and their slow, eternal rhythm is becoming your own. The sun, that warm, life-giving disk of gold, has now completed its long journey across the sky. It sinks below the horizon of the vast ocean, and the world is painted for a few brief, glorious moments in strokes of deep orange, soft violet, and fiery pink. The water catches these last rays of light, transforming the surface into a canvas of liquid fire. Then, just as slowly, the colours fade, replaced by a deep, velvety indigo blue. The day is over. The night has begun. Above, in the cloudless sky, the stars begin to appear, not one by one, but in a great sudden rush. With no cities, no artificial lights to dim their brilliance, the night sky of the ancient world is a breathtaking spectacle. A thick, glittering river of stars, the Milky Way, spills across the heavens, and rising among them is the moon, a pale silver lantern casting its gentle, ghostly light upon the world. The moonlight transforms the ocean. The surface, now calm and still as glass, becomes a vast, shimmering mirror of liquid silver. The light does not just rest on the surface, it penetrates, it filters down into the depths. It creates a new kind of daylight, a soft, ethereal, blue-luminescent sense that is the opposite of the warm, golden light of the sun. It is a cool, dreamlike light. Down here, in the quiet world of our ancient Wales, the rhythm of life has changed. The endless, purposeful migration of the daytime has ceased. The pod is now at rest. They are engaged in an activity known as blogging, a behaviour we still see in Wales today. They float almost motionless just below the surface of the water, their vast bodies suspended in the moonlit sea like great, very slightly being airship. They are no longer travelling, they are simply being. Imagine yourself there, drifting among them in this silent, silvered world. The pod is scattered, each member a great dark shape resting in the water. They are close enough to feel each other's presence, but with enough space to be alone in their slumber. The only movement is the slow, gentle rise and fall of their bodies as they breathe. The sound of their breathing is now the only rhythm of the night. It is a sound of immense, profound peace. A great mother whale rises slowly, almost imperceptibly, to the surface. Her blowhole breaks the water with a soft, sighing sound, sending a plume of misty spray into the cool night air, where it catches the moonlight like a cloud of silver dust. Whoo! The sound is not a gasp for air, it is a slow, controlled, and deeply relaxed release. It is the sound of a lung the size of a small room gently emptying itself. She takes in a fresh breath of the cool, salty night air, and then, just as slowly, she sinks back down into the quiet depths, a silent, dark mountain disappearing beneath a silver sheet. A few moments later, another whale rises, and another. Each one breathes in its own time, creating a slow, staggered chorus of soft, sighing exhalations. It is the sound of the ocean itself breathing. It is a lullaby. Whoosh, whoosh, listen to it. Let the rhythm of their breath become your own. A slow, deep breath in, and a long, gentle breath out. Let the peace of their slumber begin to settle into your own body. What does a whale dream of? What images drift through a mind so vast, a mind that has known only the endless three-dimensional world of the ocean? We can only imagine, but let us try. Perhaps their dreams are made of pure sensation, a dream of a current, a perfectly warm and gentle stream of water flowing over their skin, a feeling of effortless, supported movement, a dream of taste, the phantom sensation of a dense, swirling cloud of krill, a burst of salty, savoury rich, a dream of sound, not the waking songs of communication, but the echoes of those songs drifting through the mind like half-forgotten melodies, the memory of a call from a loved one, a mother, a child, reverberating in the quiet chambers of the soul. Perhaps their dreams are older, deeper. Let us think of our Basilosaurus, the long serpentine whale with those strange, tiny, useless legs. Does she, in the depths of her sleep, have a dream that her very bones remember? Does she dream of solid ground, a confusing, fleeting sensation of weight, of gravity, of standing on four strong legs in a world of green things and hard, unyielding earth? Does she dream of breathing air that does not taste of salt, of a sun that is not filtered through 100 feet of water? It is a genetic ghost, a dream passed down through 1,000 generations, a faint, baffling echo of a life she has never known, a dream of walking. And perhaps, just perhaps, they dream of the future. Do their vast, slow minds perceive the slow, vast changes of the world? Do they dream of a world growing colder, of the taste of ice in the water, a strange, sharp, clean sensation they have not yet experienced? Do they dream of the shapes of new coastlines, of continents drifting into new positions over millions of years? Do they hear the faint future echoes of new songs, the songs their own distant grandchildren will sing in oceans that are different from this one? Their lives are so long, their sense of time so different from our own, that perhaps their dreams can stretch across the ages, touching both the forgotten past and the unimagined future. As you drift here, in the quiet, moonlit company of these sleeping giants, you feel a profound sense of peace. You are floating in the great, gentle subconscious of the ancient world. The whales breathe, the moon shines, the ocean holds you. There is nothing to do, there is nowhere to be. There is only this perfect, silver moment of absolute tranquility. And in the deep, silent theatre of the night, the great whales dream, and the ocean dreams with them. The moon completes its slow arc across the sky, and the first pale hint of dawn touches the eastern horizon. Our pod of ancient whales begins to stir. Their slow, sleepy breathing quickens almost imperceptibly. Their vast, dark forms begin to orient themselves, all facing the same direction, guided by some unseen compass deep within their minds. The great, endless journey is about to resume. But let us pause for a moment and float here in the quiet water and think about the true scale of this journey. The migration of this single pod is not just a trip from one feeding ground to another. It is a single chapter in a story that is millions of years long. The life of one whale is but a single note in a song that spans epochs. Imagine the world as these whales experience it, not on the scale of days and years, but on the scale of geological time. To a human, the world seems stable, fixed. The mountains are eternal, the continents are solid. But to the whales, whose lineage has plied these waters for tens of millions of years, the world is a slow, breathing, changing thing. Let's drift with our pod of Cetatherium, the early baleen whales, as they make their way north. Their journey is the same one their ancestors have made for 1,000 generations. A current that once flowed freely between the Atlantic and Pacific is becoming weaker, altering the temperature of the water by a fraction of a degree each century. The whales do not notice this on a conscious level. It is a change too slow for any single lifetime. But the pod, as a whole, adapts. Each generation, their path shifts by a few hundred yards. A journey that once took them through a wide, deep channel now takes them along a slightly different coastline. Over thousands of years, their entire migratory route is redrawn, not by a single decision, but by a million tiny, unconscious adjustments. They are not just swimming through the ocean, they are flowing with the slow, inevitable current of time itself. Let us think of the other lives they encounter on these endless journeys. They share their world with creatures that are now only memories in stone. They swim past the shores where strange, flightless birds stand. They see the shadows of great carnivorous reptiles in the shallow waters, creatures that will one day vanish from the world completely. They hear the clicking, chattering sounds of early dolphins, new arrivals in the ocean, full of a nervous, acrobatic energy that seems so different from their own slow, ponderous grace. They are the constant, silent observers of a world in flux. Empires of plankton bloom and fade. Great forests of kelp rise, thrive for millennia, and then recede as the waters change. The whales pass through it all, their journey unchanging, their purpose simple: to swim, to feed, to sing, to live. Consider the sheer distance. A modern grey whale migrates up to 12,000 miles in a single year, the longest migration of any mammal. Let us imagine our ancient whales did the same. If a whale lived for 60 years, it would travel over 700,000 miles in its lifetime. That is the distance to the moon and back, with enough left over for another trip to the moon. A single whale's life is an astronomical journey, and its pod has been making this journey for millions of years. Imagine the memories that are passed down, not in words, but in song. The whale's song is not just a call, it is a living library, a sonic history of the ocean. Each new generation learns the song from its elders. The song carries the ancient maps, the location of a particularly rich feeding ground that has been used for 10,000 years, the safe passage through a treacherous reef. But it also changes. Subtly, a new phrase is added to describe a new current. A verse is altered to reflect a new landmark on the sea floor, like a new volcanic vent spewing warm, mineral-rich water. The song evolves, a slow, organic process, just like the whales themselves. It is a story that is constantly being edited, revised, and sung anew, a story of the ocean by the ocean. As you float here, contemplating this immense, slow-moving tapestry of life, your own sense of time begins to dissolve. Your worries, your deadlines, your plans for tomorrow or next week, they seem so small, so fleeting. What is a single day in the life of a creature that measures its existence in epochs? What is a moment of anxiety compared to a journey that has lasted for 50 million years? You are drifting in a great, slow river of time. The whales are your guides. They do not fight the current. They do not rush towards a destination. They yield to the slow, powerful, and inevitable changes of their world with a deep and abiding peace. They teach us a quiet lesson, that endurance is not about struggle, but about gentle persistence. It is about moving forward, one slow, powerful tail beat at a time, through whatever changes the world may bring. The journey continues. The sun warms your back. The song of the whales fills the water around you, and you let yourself be carried along, a tiny, peaceful passenger on a journey that has no end. Our dream is now drawing to a close. We have drifted through immense, silent spans of time, suspended in the deep blue peace of the ancient world. We have seen the world change, the continents shift, and life evolve in a slow, unending dance. And through it all, our gentle giants have continued their journey. Let us now watch as their ancient forms begin a final, wondrous transformation. The long serpentine body of the Basilaurus slowly, over millions of years, gives way to a more compact, more powerful form. Those tiny, useless hind legs, the last ghost of a life on land, shrink, recede, and finally vanish completely, leaving only the faintest memory in their bones. The toothed grin of the hunter is replaced in many of its descendants by the soft, brush-like curtain of baleen. The great leviathans are becoming the whales we know today. The Cetatherium grows larger, more robust, its descendants branching out into the myriad forms of baleen whales that grace our modern oceans. One branch will become the mighty blue whale, the largest animal that has ever lived, its heart the size of a small car, its song too low for human ears to even hear. Another branch will become the humpback, the great acrobats and composers of the ocean, their songs the most complex in the animal kingdom. Another still will become the grey whale, who will continue the ancient tradition of the immense yearly migration. The names change, the forms shift, but the essence remains the same. The journey does not end. It is a circle, a cycle, a great slow-breathing rhythm that has pulsed in the heart of the ocean for longer than we can comprehend. The need to travel, the need to feed, the need to sing, the need to raise their young, these are the eternal truths of their existence. It is a life of beautiful, profound simplicity, repeated generation after generation. Imagine you can see it all at once, a great, timeless ribbon of life stretching back 50 million years. You see the first tentative steps of a land mammal wading into the water. You see it transform, its legs becoming flippers, its body becoming streamlined. You see it grow to immense size, becoming a master of its new liquid world. You see it spread across the globe, adapting to warm seas and icy poles. You see it survive ice ages and asteroid impacts. You see it change its shape, its song, and you see it today, a modern blue whale rising to the surface to breathe, its powerful exhalation sending a plume of mist into the air, just as its distant ancestor did under a prehistoric moon. The lineage is unbroken, the journey is continuous. This slow, eternal cycle is a form of peace. It is a reminder that life, in its most profound sense, is not about frantic activity, but about gentle, persistent continuation. It is the rhythm of your own breath, a slow inhale, a long exhale. It is the rhythm of your own heart beating steadily in your chest. It is the rhythm of the tides, rising and falling, pulled by a distant moon. The slow turn from winter to spring, from summer to autumn. It is all one song, one dance, one great, peaceful, eternal lullaby. Our journey with the ancient whales is over now. We must leave them to their endless migration and return to our own quiet rest. But we carry a piece of their peace with us, the memory of the deep, silent blue, the feeling of weightlessness in the warm water, the sound of their slow, sighing breath. As you fall asleep tonight, remember that out there, in the quiet darkness of the deep ocean, these giant, magental creatures continue their journey. Their ancestors swam through oceans we can only dream of, and their descendants will swim through oceans we will never see. Their song, an ancient and beautiful melody, continues to echo through the water, a timeless connection between the past, the present, and the future. When you sink into your own dreams, imagine you can hear it, a low, gentle, and eternal lullaby, sung between the sea and the sky. Shoot well. We are going to meet the creatures whose names often conjure fear, but tonight we will not see them as monsters. We will see them as they were, quiet giants, majestic kings of a speechless kingdom. We will drift with them in their great and solemn peace. So let your body feel weightless, feel yourself floating in a warm, gentle current. Let the sounds of the modern world dissolve into the eternal hum of the ocean. Our dream begins now, beneath the waves of time. Imagine a morning, but not a morning you have ever known, in a world that has long since vanished. This morning does not arrive with the sharp crow of a rooster or the gradual brightening of an eastern sky. This morning arrives as a slow, almost imperceptible shift in the quality of blueness, a change from the deep, starless indigo of the abyss to the soft, hazy sapphire of the deep ocean dawn. We are floating in the Miocene epoch, 15 million years ago. The sun, a distant and abstract concept, is less a source of light and more a source of life. Its energy struggles to reach you here, hundreds of feet below the shimmering, restless surface. The light arrives not as a glare, but as a gift, a series of soft, wavering columns of pale gold and ethereal green, like the pillars of a submerged, forgotten temple. They pierce the deep blue, their beams dancing in the water with movements that are slow, languid, and hypnotic. They illuminate great swirling clouds of tiny drifting plankton, turning them into galaxies of shimmering dust in a liquid cosmos. There is a silence here that is not merely an absence of sound, but a presence in itself. It is a vast, liquid quiet, a deep and resonant hum that you feel in the hollows of your bones. It is the sound of the world before machines, before ships, before humanity. It is the sound of water, of pressure, of life in its most ancient and undisturbed state. The only breaks in this profound stillness are the faintest hiss of your own imagined breath and the soft, deep thrum of a distant current moving like a great, slow river through the surrounding sea. This is a world untouched, a world of pure and ancient peace. Let yourself float in this world. You are not a body, but a thought, a dream, a silent observer suspended in the warm, salty cradle of the primordial ocean. The water holds you in a gentle, constant embrace, a pressure that is not crushing, but comforting. It is a reminder that you are part of this vast, living system. Below you, the ocean floor is a landscape of quiet, alien majesty. Great sprawling reefs stretch for miles in every direction, but they are not the vibrant, colourful explosions of a modern reef. These are ancient structures of pale, stone-like coral, their branches reaching up like the gnarled, frozen fingers of sleeping giants. Great forests of kelp, taller and broader than any tree on land, sway in a slow, unified dance, their long, ribbon-like fronds creating a moving, breathing canopy that filters the already soft light from above. The world is a cathedral of deep blue and muted green, a place of immense, quiet shapes and the softest, most gentle shadows. And it is empty, so beautifully, peacefully, wonderfully empty. For a long time, which could be minutes or could be centuries, nothing changes. The columns of light shift with the turning of the earth. The kelp sways with the rhythm of the unseen tide. The plankton drifts on its microscopic journey. The rhythm of this world is one of millennia, not moments. It is a world in deep, slow meditation. And then something does change. It begins not with a sound, but with a feeling, a subtle shift in the pressure of the water against your skin. The light ahead of you seems to warp, to bend, as if passing through a lens of immense size. A darkness begins to gather in the hazy distance, a patch of deeper blue that seems to be growing, expanding, moving towards you with an unhurried, inevitable and utterly silent purpose. It is a shadow, but it is a shadow so vast that it does not fall upon the sea floor, it becomes the sea floor. It is a living, moving eclipse, a piece of the abyss that has detached itself and is now flowing through the water. It is a presence so large that it changes the quality of the light around you, a slow, creeping twilight in the middle of this ancient morning. It is not moving quickly. Speed has no meaning in a world of this scale. It is simply arriving. A faint primal echo from a long-forgotten world of predators and prey might flicker in your mind, a tiny spark of fear. But it is immediately extinguished, washed away by a wave of profound, overwhelming awe. As the shape draws closer, it resolves itself out of the blue haze. It is a great dark form, a living vessel of impossible scale, passing through the water with the serene confidence of a celestial body. Our modern world has pieced together its fossilized bones and given it a name that sounds like a crash of thunder: Megalodon. A name that means big tooth. We have built our stories, our movies, our nightmares around that single terrifying feature, its teeth, as large as a man's hand, serrated and sharp enough to share through bone and metal. We have cast it as a monster, a creature of relentless primal fury. But that is not what you see, that is not what you feel. You see a quiet giant, a king. Its body, perhaps 60 feet from the tip of its nose to the great fork of its tail, is a perfect expression of streamlined hydrodynamic power. It is not a machine of mindless violence. It is a masterpiece of evolution, a creature perfectly sculpted by the pressures and demands of its liquid world over millions of years. Its skin is a deep dark slate blue, the colour of a stormy sea at dusk. But it is not a uniform colour. It is a living map, a historical document. It is covered in a vast, intricate network of pale silver scars that tell the story of its long and solitary life. You can almost read them as it passes. Here, on its flank, a series of parallel gashes faded with time, the mark of a territorial dispute with another of its kind, a brief and violent disagreement that happened decades ago in a different ocean. There, near its immense, sail-like dorsal fin, a long, healed-over scrape, a white line on the blue canvas, a memory of a close encounter with a sharp volcanic reef in a distant, shallow sea. You see the faint, almost ghostly circular patterns of different sizes scattered across its snout and gills, the fading tattoos left by the suckers of a giant squid it once wrestled with in the crushing, absolute darkness of the abyss. A silent battle of titans in a world of eternal night. This creature carries its history on its skin, a silent testament to its survival, its strength, its dominance. It moves with a rhythm that is deep, powerful and incredibly beautifully slow, a single almost lazy-looking beat of its immense crescent-shaped tail, a movement that begins deep in the powerful muscles of its core, propels its vast weight forward with an ease that seems to defy the very laws of physics. It does not need to rush. It is not hunting. It is simply travelling. It is on a journey that has no map. It is following an ancient, invisible path, a road written in the subtle shifts of water temperature, the faint taste of minerals carried on the deep ocean currents, and the silent, ever-present hum of the Earth's magnetic field. Its journey began before it was born, a pilgrimage programmed into its very being, a path followed by its ancestors for millions of years. Allow yourself to feel the movement of the water as the great shark passes. Its immense body displaces a small sea of its own, but it is not a violent wake that you feel, not a churning turbulence. It is a soft, powerful, rolling pressure wave. A pulse that moves through the water and through you. A feeling you register in the very core of your being. It is the feeling of immense power, perfectly controlled, perfectly at peace with itself. You watch the slow, rhythmic opening and closing of its 5 great gill slits, each one a dark, mysterious doorway into its inner world. They breathe the ocean, taking not just oxygen, but life itself from the water that surrounds them. Its eye, a dark, deep and ancient orb the size of a shield, swivels for a moment in your direction. It is an eye without malice, without emotion as we would understand it. It is an eye that has seen 1,000 seasons, 1,000 migrations, 1,000 sunrises just like this one. It registers your presence, if it registers you at all, with a profound, majestic indifference. It is the way a mountain might notice a cloud passing by. It is the way a star might notice a planet in its orbit. You are a fleeting, insignificant and utterly unthreatening detail in its vast, long existence. There is no malice here, there is no anger, there is only a magnificent, solitary being living a life on a scale of time and space that our minds can barely begin to grasp. It is a life of silent journeys, of deep, cold descents, of patient patrols through a sun-dappled prehistoric sea. The great shark passes, and its shadow moves on. The columns of light return to the sea floor, and the water is once again filled with a gentle, shimmering glow. The ocean is as it was, quiet, deep, and timeless, and you are left floating in its wake, the gentle pressure wave of its passage still echoing in the water around you, filled not with the memory of fear, but with a deep, bone-weary, and profoundly sleepy sense of awe. Let us allow the currents of time to carry us even further back into a deeper, darker, and even more ancient ocean. Let the warm, sunlit waters of the Miocene grow cool and heavy around you as we sink, drifting backwards through 50 million years. We are in the late Cretaceous period, 70 million years ago. The world above is the world of the dinosaurs, a place of volcanic fury and lush alien jungles. But down here, in the silent, liquid heart of the planet, another kind of giant reigns. We are sinking past the sunlit reefs, leaving the familiar world behind. We are entering the twilight zone. The water here is cooler, the pressure a gentle, constant weight that you feel not as a burden, but as a comforting embrace. The light has changed. It is no longer the pale gold of the upper ocean, but a dim, ghostly blue, a light that seems to have travelled a very long way to reach you. It is a world of soft edges and deep, hazy distances, where shapes are suggested rather than seen. The ocean floor is no longer a gentle, sandy plain. It is a dramatic landscape of immense, silent canyons and deep, winding valleys, carved by forces older than life itself. It is a world of eternal twilight, a place of deep blue and even deeper shadows. And it is here, in the majestic gloom, that we meet another giant, a different kind of giant. It emerges not from the light above, but from the mouth of a deep-sea trench, a blacker-than-fire slash in the sea floor. It does not look like a fish. It does not look like a mammal. It looks like a dragon. This is a mosasaur. Again, its name conjures images of ferocious reptilian violence. Our stories paint it as a sea dragon, a creature of teeth and fury, but we are here not to witness a hunt. We are here to witness a journey. Let go of the fear. There is only peace here. The mosasaur is long, immensely powerful. Its skin is not smooth, but covered in fine, dark scales, like a suit of chainmail, like shimmer with a faint, oily iridescence in the dim blue light. Its head is long and narrow, like that of a great crocodile, and its body is propelled not by a crescent-shaped tail, but by a long, flattened, paddle-like fluke at the end of its body. It steers with 4 great flippers, which it uses with slow, deliberate, and surprisingly graceful strokes, like the oars of a great silent ship. Let yourself follow it. There is no sense of danger here. In this dream you are just a spirit of the water, an invisible witness. You drift behind it, watching its slow, powerful tail propel it through the still, cold water with an unhurried ease. It is a solitary creature, a king in a kingdom of one. Its journey is not a migration from one end of the ocean to the other. It is a patrol, a slow, meandering, and endless survey of its vast, silent territory. It is checking the boundaries of its kingdom, a kingdom that has no walls but the canyon cliffs, and no ceiling but 1,000 feet of water. It passes through landscapes that are both desolate and beautiful. It glides over the skeletal remains of another long-dead sea creature, perhaps a plesiosaur, its bones now a pale, silent garden for strange, luminous sea anemones that glow with a soft, cold light of their own. It weaves its way through a forest of ancient, petrified coral, their sharp, dead branches reaching out like the fingers of ghosts. It is a world of immense, quiet melancholy. A world of beautiful ruins where new life is slowly, patiently taking hold. The mosasaur seems to be in a dream itself. Its movements are languid, unhurried. It is as if it is half asleep, guided by instinct and the deep, silent song of the abyss. The pressure of the water at this depth is so great that sound travels differently. The only noise is the faint, low-frequency hum of the earth itself. A bass note so low you feel it in the very core of your being. It is the sound of a planet breathing in its sleep. It is a sound of absolute peace. You watch as the great creature angles its body downwards, its paddle-like flippers guiding it with minute, precise adjustments, and it glides into a deep, narrow canyon, a place where the light has never ever reached. The darkness here is absolute, a physical presence. It is a darkness that is not empty, but full of pressure, full of cold, full of a silence that is millions of years old. But you can still feel the mosasaur's presence. You can feel the immense, slow-moving displacement of the water as it passes. It is moving through a world of pure sensation now, a world it perceives not with its eyes, but with its entire body. It can feel the subtle shifts in water pressure that tell it a canyon wall is near. It can taste the faint chemical trail of its prey. It can sense that you do not feel fear in this darkness. You feel a profound sense of peace. It is the peace of a world without light, without sound, without thought. It is the peace of the deep. You are floating in a silent, liquid void, and the slow, dreaming passage of the great underwater dragon is the only thing that is real. It is a moment of perfect, quiet solitude, shared with one of the most magnificent creatures that has ever existed. It has no interest in you. It has no knowledge of you. It is simply moving through its home, a silent, graceful king in a kingdom of absolute night. And as it disappears into the deeper darkness, its long form finally swallowed by the abyss, you are left with the feeling not of being abandoned, but of having witnessed a deep and ancient secret. You have seen the quiet, dreaming life of a dragon, and the peace of its world stays with you, a deep, cold, and silent comfort. Let us rise now, slowly, from the absolute darkness of the mosasaur's abyss. Let the gentle currents lift you back up through the twilight zone and into the hazy, sunlit waters of an even more distant past. We are drifting now, suspended in the timeless, deep blue water of the Jurassic Ocean, and we are going to allow the ocean's memory to show us other ghosts, other gentle giants who once called this liquid world their home. Imagine this place not as an ocean, but as a great silent museum. The exhibits are not behind glass. The labels are not written in a language you can read. The artifacts are alive, but they are also memories, faint and shimmering. You are not a visitor walking through halls. You are a thought floating through the very mind of the ocean itself. And the great creatures of the past appear not as solid beings, but as silvery after-images, whispers of life in the quiet water. A shape materializes before you. It does not swim into view, it simply congeals out of the blue haze. It is not a giant of immense bulk, but a giant of perfect, streamlined grace. It has the familiar, friendly shape of a dolphin, but it is as large as a bus, a living torpedo of smooth, dark skin and powerful muscle. This is an ichthyosaur. Its name means fish lizard, but it is own perfect creation, a reptile that evolved to become a master of the sea. You watch its form, and the feeling it inspires is not awe, but a sense of pure, unadulterated joy. It moves through the water with an effortless speed and agility that is breathtaking. It is not hunting, it is not travelling, it is playing. It chases a shoal of small silver fish, not to eat them, but for the sheer pleasure of the chase, weaving through them like a needle through thread. It leaps from the water in a great, silent, soaring arc, its smooth skin shimmering for a moment in the prehistoric sun, before it slides back into the sea with barely a splash, leaving a trail of sparkling bubbles in its wake. Its eye, one of the largest of any animal that has ever lived, is a huge, dark, intelligent orb. It is protected by a ring of bone, giving it a look of perpetual, gentle surprise. As it glides past you, that great eye seems to look at you, and you feel not a sense of being watched, but of being acknowledged. There is a playful, ancient wisdom in its gaze. This is a creature of light, of speed, of happiness. Its presence in this dream is a whisper of pure, fluid motion, a memory of joy. And then, just as quickly and as silently as it appeared, its form dissolves, blurring back into the blue, leaving only the happy feeling of its passage. The water grows still again, and then a new shape begins to form in the distance. This one is different. It is a deeper, heavier, more ponderous presence. This is a whisper of power. We are looking at a different kind of ruler of this ocean, a short, impossibly thick neck, a vast, teardrop-shaped body propelled not by a tail but by 4 enormous, powerful flippers that work like underwater wings, and a head. A head so large it seems to be half the length of the entire animal, with a jaw that could swallow a small boat whole, lined with teeth like railway spikes. This is a pliosaur, perhaps the mighty Kronosaurus or its cousin, Liopleurodon. Again, the name, the image, inspires a modern sense of terror. We have been taught to see this creature as a sea monster, a thing of nightmares. But here, in the quiet of our ocean dream, we see it differently. It is not a monster, it is a guardian. It moves with a slow, implacable and absolute confidence like a great living fortress. It is the undisputed master of its domain, and because of this, it is profoundly at peace. It does not need to rush, it does not need to threaten, its very presence is a statement of unshakable authority. You drift beside it, and you feel not a shred of fear, but a sense of profound, deep security. You are next to the most powerful thing in the entire ocean, and it is calm. You watch the slow, rhythmic beat of its giant flippers, each one a powerful, deliberate stroke that moves its vast bulk through the water with a quiet, unstoppable force. It is not a journey of migration, it is a journey of dominion. It patrols its territory with the serene, untroubled majesty of a king surveying his kingdom. Its great eye, smaller than the ichthyosaur's but filled with a deep, ancient intelligence, seems to gaze into the distance, untroubled by the small dramas of the reef below. It is a whisper of immense, quiet power. Then its form too begins to grow translucent, its great dark shape fading back into the deep, leaving behind a lingering feeling of strength and stability. You are now in a vast, silent underwater gallery. The exhibits are not bones in glass cases. They are living memories, ghostly giants swimming their eternal laps through the halls of time. They glide past you, one after another, each one a different story. A long-necked plesiosaur, its head a small, curious periscope at the end of a long, impossibly graceful neck, weaves its way through a swaying kelp forest. A gentle, curious browser, a great shoal of ancient ammonites, their beautiful, ornate spiral shells catching the light like a fleet of living ships, drift past in a silent, slow procession. Each one of these phantoms is a story that was never written down. Each one is a life that was lived in a world we can only imagine. They do not interact with you, they do not notice you. They are simply there, faint, beautiful, and silent. They are the quiet, half-forgotten thoughts of the ocean itself. And you, floating here in their majestic company, are not an intruder. You are simply listening, with your whole being, to the deep, silent whispers of these forgotten giants, letting their profound and ancient peace become your own. Our journey now takes us deeper than we have ever been before, deeper than the sunlit reefs, deeper than the twilight canyons where the mosasaur glides. We are sinking, slowly, gently, down to the very floor of the ancient sea. The pace of our story slows to a near standstill. Let your own breathing become deeper, slower, matching the profound calm of this place. We are entering the abyss, a realm where time itself seems to move differently. This is a place of profound and eternal rest. Imagine the deep sea floor not as a place of terror or emptiness, but as a great soft bed. It is a mattress of fine silken silt, a substance that has been accumulating molecule by molecule for millions of years. It is a blanket of time itself. This is where the great journeys end. This is where the giants come to sleep. The darkness here is a physical presence, a thick, velvety cloak that wraps around everything. It is a darkness deeper and more complete than any you have ever known. But as your dream eyes adjust, you begin to see. There is a light here, but it is not from the sun. It is a cold, living light. A tiny, ghostly shrimp with phosphorescent organs drifts past like a fallen star. A strange, alien-like fish with a glowing lure hanging before its face pulses with a soft, blue-green light. This is the bioluminescence of the deep, the faint, magical starlight of the abyss, and by this cold, gentle light you see them, the sleepers. Here lies the immense skeleton of a megalodon. Its great, curved spine, once a vessel of so much power, is now a range of pale, silent hills on the ocean floor. The flesh is long gone, consumed by the patient, tireless janitors of the deep. But the form remains, a vast and noble architecture of bone. Its jaw, once so powerful it could crush a whale, now lies open and still, a silent ivory cave. Strange blind crabs, as pale as ghosts, walk slowly over teeth that were once the terror of the seas, their movements unhurried, as if they have all the time in the world, which of course they do. Further on, half buried in the soft grey silt, you see the long serpentine form of a mosasaur. Its bones are perfectly articulated in the soft mud, as if it had simply laid down for a nap millions of years ago and never woken up. A thin, gentle and unending rain of marine snow, the tiny decaying particles of life from the sunlit world far, far above, is constantly, slowly falling, blanketing the great skeleton in a soft, dusty shroud. It is a process of burial so slow, so gentle, that it takes 10,000 years to cover a single rib. Time itself is the blanket, patiently, lovingly tucking these giants into their final bed. There is no sound here but the faintest, softest hiss of the water moving through unseen hydrothermal vents in the distance, and the almost imperceptible tink of a single grain of sand as it settles upon a fossilized vertebra. Time itself seems to slow down here, to stretch into infinity. The great dramas of life and death, of hunting and being hunted, of the chase and the flight, are over. All that is left is a vast cathedral-like silence, a silence of bone and memory and immense, heavy peace. This is the final resting place, the great bed at the bottom of the world where even the most fearsome of creatures finds a final, unbreakable stillness. The weight of the ocean above them is a blanket, a heavy, comforting pressure that holds them in a timeless embrace. All the struggles, all the journeys, all the roars and the battles have faded into this perfect, absolute quiet. They have returned to the elements from which they came. The water that once sustained them now cradles their bones. The salt that once coursed through their blood now preserves their memory, turning bone into beautiful, heavy stone. As you float above this silent, sacred graveyard, you feel a sense of peace that is deeper than any other. This is not a place of sadness. It is a place of completion. It is a place of transformation. A place where every story has found its final, quiet page. You realize that even the greatest of giants, the kings of the ancient sea, needed a place to rest. They needed a place to finally be still. They are sleeping now, under the weight of the world, and maybe, just maybe, they're still dreaming. Let your dream self feel a gentle upward pull. It is time to leave this ancient seabed, this place of profound and final rest. You are not swimming, you are being lifted, as if by a slow, invisible hand. As you begin to ascend, rising from the deep, leaving the sleeping giants to their eternal slumber, you are caught in a gentle upward current. It is a tide not of war, but of time itself, and it is carrying you forward, back towards your own world. Let the journey be slow, unhurried. Feel yourself drifting up through the immense silent layers of history. The great skeletons on the seafloor grow smaller, fading back into the deep blue darkness until they are just pale memories on the ocean bed. You rise through the abyss, and the absolute blackness gives way to the ghostly twilight of the deep valleys. You rise higher still, and the water around you warms, the light growing from a dim blue to a soft, hazy green. The ages seem to pass by you like fleeting shadows in the water. You rise through the Jurassic, past the ghostly, playful form of the ichthyosaur and the slow, majestic patrol of the pliosaur. They fade like smoke in the water. You rise through the Cretaceous, and the serpentine form of the last mosasaur gives a final, slow, dreamy undulation before dissolving into the blue. You rise through the Miocene, and the great shadow of the last megalodon passes far beneath you. A final, silent farewell before it, too, is gone, its story complete. The great sea dragons and the giant sharks have vanished. Their time is over. Their stories have been told, but the ocean remembers them. Their memory is in the very saltiness of the water they swam in, a taste that has lingered for 100 million years. Their memory is in the deep, silent canyons they once patrolled, their vast presence having carved invisible paths that the currents still follow. Their memory is in the very weight and pressure of the deep, a powerful echo of the immense lives that once filled this space. They are gone, but they are not forgotten. The ocean itself is their living memorial. As you near the surface now, the light becomes brighter, warmer, more familiar. The columns of light from above are no longer ethereal and ghostly, but golden and welcoming. The water is full of new life, the quick darting shapes of modern fish, the playful clicks and whistles of dolphins, the vast and gentle forms of the whales who inherited this liquid kingdom. Life is still here. The journey of the ocean, the journey of life itself, continues, an unbroken chain stretching from that ancient, quiet world to this one. And as you drift in these upper waters, bathed in the gentle, familiar sunlight, feel a sense of warmth and deep reassurance settle over you. Your own life, your own small journey through time can sometimes feel lonely or chaotic, but you are not alone. You are part of a story that is impossibly vast and ancient. Even the largest, most powerful, most fearsome creatures that ever existed knew how to disappear gracefully. They knew how to surrender to this slow, gentle tide of time and find their final, quiet peace. Their story is a comfort. It tells us that all things have their season, and that there is a quiet, profound beauty in letting go, in becoming a part of the great, silent memory of the world. Now, as you prepare for your own sleep, as your own journey through the day comes to its quiet end, close your eyes. Let go of the world of light and land. Imagine yourself floating one last time in that warm, ancient sea. Feel the gentle current holding you, rocking you slowly, peacefully. The quiet, majestic shadows of the great giants drift by in your mind's eye. They are not monsters. They are not a source of fear. They are your companions in this dream. They are the calm, steady guardians of your sleep. Let yourself be carried by these ancient tides. Let the deep, silent peace of their world become your own. There is nothing to do, nothing to fear. There is only the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the ocean, a lullaby that has been sung for 100 million years. Let it sing you to sleep now. Let the current of your dreams carry you away into your own deep and peaceful rest.